fireplace, all spiced and set to burn. At last, the yearly Christmas race was in the clubhouse turn. All the cards were in the mail, and the gifts beneath the tree.
And 30 days till Visa caught up with me. Though smug satisfaction seemed the order of the day, something still was nagging me and would not go away. A week before, I got a gift from my dearest old great-aunt. It read,
Now, I will understand completely if you find that you just can't. But if you have some extra time, how wonderful it would be for us to have a little chat over a cup of Christmas tea.
She'd had a mild stroke that year, which crippled her left side. Though housebound now, there'd be no doubt she still would have her pride.
I had always loved her dearly, and she was fond of me. I really should stop by and have a cup of Christmas tea, but boy, I didn't want to go. Oh, what a bitter pill to see my sweet old auntie and how far she'd gone downhill. I remembered her as vigorous and funny and as bright. I remember Christmas Eves when she regaled us half the night. I didn't want to risk all that. I didn't want the pain. I didn't want to be depressed, and I sure didn't need the strain. And what about my brother? Why not him? She's his aunt, too. Oh, I thought I had it justified, but then before I knew the reasons not to go I so painstakingly had built were cracking wide and crumbling in an acid rain of guilt.
She took her coat and gloves and cap, shame stinging every pore, and armed with squeegee and a map, she went out her front door. She drove in from the suburbs to the older part of town. The pastels of the newer homes gave way to gray and brown.
I had that disembodied feeling as the car pulled up and stopped beside the wooden house that held the Christmas cup. How I got to her front door, I really couldn't tell. I watched my hand rise up and press the button of the bell. I waited, aided by my nervous rocking to and fro, and just as I was thinking I should turn around and go,
She heard the rattle of the china in the hutch against the wall, the triple beat of 2 small feet, and a crutch sounded down the hall. The rattle of the door latch and the sliding of a bolt, and with a little struggle, it popped open with a jolt. She stood there, pale and tiny, looking fragile as an egg.
I forced myself from looking at the brace that held her leg. Her thick bifocals seemed to crack and spread her eyes. Their milky and refracted depths lit up with young surprise.
Come in! Come in!
Oh, Aunt left the words and took her by the hand, and all her fears dissolved as if by Aunt's command. They went inside, and before she knew how to react, before her eyes and ears and nose was Christmas past, alive, intact. The scent of oranges, cinnamon, and pine, the antique wooden soldiers in their military line, the porcelain nativity she always loved so much, the Dresden and the crystal, She'd been told she mustn't touch.
My spirit fairly bolted like a child let out of class and danced among the ornaments of calico and glass. Like magic, I was 6 again, deep in a Christmas spell, steeped in a million memories this girl inside knew well. And here, among old Christmas cards, so lovingly displayed, a special place of honor for the ones we kids had made. There, beside her straight-back chair, the center of it all, my great aunt stood and said,
How lovely it is you've come to call.
I sat and rattled on about the weather and the flu. She listened very patiently, then smiled and said,
What's new?
Thoughts and words began to flow. I started making sense. I lost the phony breeziness I use when I get tense. She still was passionately interested in everything I did. She was positive and encouraging, like when I was a kid. But simple generalities still sent her into fits.
Give me the specifics, the particulars, the little bits.
We talked about the limitations she had had to face. She spoke with utter candor, with humor and good grace. Then, defying the reality of a crutch and straightened knee, she flew on wings of hospitality. She flew to brew the tea. I sat with feelings I hadn't felt in years. I looked around at Christmas through a thick, hot blur of tears. At the candles and the holly she'd arranged on every shelf. The very tasty cookies she had lovingly baked herself. But these rich tactile memories became quite pale and thin when measured by the Christmas my deep aunt kept within. Her body was halved and nearly spent, but my great aunt was whole. I saw a Christmas miracle, the triumph of a soul.
Go. Go. Go out, enter. The treble beat of feet and crutch had sounded down the hall, the rattle of the china in the hutch against the wall.
She poured 2 cups. She smiled and then handed one to me. And we sat back and had a cup of Christmas tea.
Thank you very much. Our cast today included Elizabeth Rabel as Great Aunt Mary, as Amy, and then Wickham as the narrator. What we're doing right now is clearing the stage for the next play, which is Leon. and will be introduced in just a few moments.